friends, Benita from Knitting in the Mitten. So my nieces told me that I needed to post more about knitting because my channel is Knitting in the Mitten. So I have been doing that lately, and as a result, I got together with my knitting friends that I used to knit with in Minnesota, at least 3 of them. So it was so nice to see them last night. Some of us were knitting or trying to knit and talk at the same time. The only project I have right now is that complicated thing that I'm making where you have to drop stitches on purpose. So it was a little hard to knit and talk at the same time, but it was so great to see them virtually. So we're going to try that again. So thanks to my nieces for suggesting that I talk more about knitting, because now I get to talk with the knitters. So yeah, it's good fun. Today's knitting retrospective is socks. I'm going to show you 2 very different pairs of socks that I knit. The first one is a ribbed sock. And the pattern is called Basic Sock by Ann Budd, and I knit them in 2007. It took me a really long time to make them, apparently, from August until the next January, which it should not take that long for a pair of socks. So clearly I wasn't very committed to them. And I think I liked them well enough. They're a little snug. I think I still have them. I don't wear them often. So yeah, gauge with socks is a little tricky for me because I don't like to do gauge swatches where you knit to find out how many stitches per inch you have, and you have to knit a pretty big piece. And to me, it's a waste of time because then you got to rip it out and knit your socks. So I just take a wild guess. So they were a bit snug, and I also have not learned the toe up sock knitting method, which I really want to learn, because I want to be able to take a skein of yarn and start at the toe and then knit until the skein is gone, and that's how tall it'll be. That's how long the cuff will be. The only way I've ever knit socks is from the cuff down, so you have to, again, take a wild guess how long your cuff can be. So yeah, I have not perfected that, but I do prefer the 4 double pointed needle method. We talked about this on our Zoom knitting group last night with my Minnesota friends. One person uses 2 circular needles and puts half the stitches on one and half on the other. The rest of us, I think, use the double pointed needles. So yeah, I have not knit socks for a while, but I really should, because I know I have sock yarn, and I do like hand knitted socks. The other socks I want to show you, sorry, I gotta look them up on my other phone, are called the Hiker Sock by Margaret Radcliffe, and that was a much thicker yarn and kind of an interesting stitch pattern, and I really liked those. They were a lot thicker and a lot more bulky. So they didn't really fit in shoes, but I wore them around the house a lot, which wore them out. So I know that I got holes in them and I had to throw them away. So maybe I'll make that pattern again, because that was kind of fun. And I will link to those patterns in the description. So happy knitting. Making good progress on my Camino bubbles. So it won't look like much until it's done and washed and blocked, but I'm getting the hang of it, and yeah, I think I'm dropping only the stitches I'm supposed to drop, so that's good.